Hi there, it's Kathy again, and welcome to another video in this series, the three-pillar decision framework. We're going to look at the third pillar, which is housing. How to make decisions that actually hold up over time. Welcome to my platform, and my goal here is to help you understand what's really going on. You know, in my career, I've guided thousands of elders and families and professionals, have written and published multiple books, spoken at various conferences, held workshops, and most importantly, I've served as a family caregiver. Today, I run retreats for family caregivers that are so burnt out, and professionals on the front lines that are equally as burnt out. I know how the games are played, and I know how to play the games, and I'm sharing it all with you. We're in a time where the aging process now collides with economic realities, workforce shortages, and systems that were never designed for the level of complexity we see around us today. Think about it. Do you believe you'll make thoughtful, informed decisions when the time comes? Well, you won't. You'll be rushed. You'll be pressured. And you'll be moved through the systems that are designed to prioritize speed, occupancy, and revenue, not your understanding. No, this is not your failure or your family's failure or maybe even the person standing in front of you's failure. It is how the system operates. My decision-making framework takes three high-risk areas: health, finance, and housing, and distills them into a simple decision-making process to slow the rush down and think through options. Remember, if you are not given options, you are not being guided, you're being directed. And if you don't understand that going in, you won't realize you're being led and you think you're choosing. The real problem here is you are not making a decision. You are entering a pathway. Think about it. When a health event happens, a fall, hospitalization, a significant cognitive decline, you and the family are suddenly pulled into what feels like a decision point. But most of the time it isn't. It's a default pathway. A default pathway. Know that hospital discharge teams move quickly. Referral partners present one option, usually their own, as the only option. Communities sell availability as solutions, and services framed as complete answers. They are not. All of it sounds helpful, some of it is, but much of it is financially driven. If you, your family, your loved ones, do not understand how the money flows, you will not understand why decisions unfold the way they do. Again, if you don't understand how the money flows, you won't understand why decisions you make unfold the way they do. Follow the money. I have a video I just recorded on this that'll be up next week. So let's look at housing risk, and how to shift from being sold to thinking clearly. Understand what you're choosing, and see and know and realize that every major aging decision comes down to, fits into, if you will, these three realities. Whether you're in planning mode, crisis mode, these three realities will be circling around you. So we've looked at health and finance in two other videos in this Read Me First section. Let's take a closer look at the housing risk. Here's where salespeople come alive and completely miss the truth that determines whether a housing decision succeeds or quietly detonates months later. You think you are choosing a place. In reality, you're choosing a set of limits. Limits on what care can be delivered, what staff are available to deliver that care, what happens when care needs increase, what triggers a move or a discharge. When anyone, don't care who it is, how many credentials are after their name or whatever, advising you, anyone you choose that's advising you does not understand these basic concepts, they unintentionally set you up for disruption, instability, and repeated crises. Housing is the most misunderstood area in eldercare and the most disruptive when it breaks. So let's reframe the housing risk as a dynamic system, not a static choice, and show why ignoring the truth leads to failed placements, broken trusts. Housing isn't about the building. It's about where someone's life actually unfolds. Every setting, whether it's home, assisted living, skilled nursing, shared housing, continuing care retirement communities, they can work beautifully for a window of time. The risk is not moving in. The risk is outgrowing the setting without a plan. Most people don't talk about this window. They sometimes oversell the entry point, not the exit triggers. Each one is critical. It's the exit triggers, your exit plan, your exit strategy, is what destabilizes you and your family. So here are 5 housing realities to understand. Number 1, setting options. Don't fall into the trap that you're only choosing a place. No, you are choosing a care environment with built-in limits. The home, with or without support. Family-based care, which puts family members at risk for burnout. Assisted living with care limits. Skilled nursing, right now heavily Medicaid dependent. Small home models, which exist more in some states than others. And share housing, which is making a comeback. Think about the Golden Girls. Each has strengths, each has breaking points. Number 2, the critical piece is service alignment. This is where most initial conversations fail. You have to know what services can actually be delivered in this setting, what caregivers can legally and practically do, what happens when the needs exceed that level. If you don't understand the service alignment, you cannot match the person to the right environment. Anticipate when the environment will stop working. Number 3, staffing realities. We all know there is shortages all over the place in healthcare and aging services. So do not assume staffing is consistent. Ask about rotation versus consistency. Workforce stability and turnover rate. Overnight coverage. Is there an RN in the building or on call? Supervision and training levels of staff in the setting. Who is responsible? It's especially true with facilities that have memory units. Staffing determines overall safety, not the place. Number 4, policies and triggers. Every setting has rules that quietly shape your loved one's future. So what causes fee increases? What triggers levels of care changes? What leads to discharge or eviction? If these areas are not explained, you will be blindsided later. Number 5, control versus dependency. This one really determines the quality of life. Who controls the daily schedule? How flexible are routines? How much autonomy for the individual remains? Ask these questions and get the answers to your questions. They matter deeply. You know, the hidden truth here is that most people never see that a decision in one of these three areas can quietly destabilize the others. They all work together. If health declines, care needs increase. When care needs increase, costs accelerate. When costs accelerate, financial limits get hit. When financial limits get hit, housing must change. When housing changes, stability breaks. When stability breaks, medical events occur. When medical events occur, we restart the whole cycle again. I can tell you, I've seen this over and over and over and over again. This is why housing decisions don't feel in the moment, but in what they trigger next. The systems around all of us push speed, but speed is not stability. When you think clearly, you avoid preventable mistakes. So before saying yes or signing anything, ask, do I understand the real health situation? Can we sustain this choice or option financially over time? What happens when things get worse? If you can't answer all three with any sense of clarity, you did not make a decision. You entered a pathway.